Welcome back to The Will of the Hunted. This week's guest is a gaming ambassador and enthusiast, a father and ally, and a good friend of mine. I met him at the best game store ever, where Mike and I play Magic, Chromatic Dragon games in Somersworth, New Hampshire. He has also opened up to me about navigating sobriety in gaming and social spaces, so I asked him if he would be willing to share more on this podcast. Please welcome my friend, Terry. This podcast is for support and commentary only, not professional advice. I am not a licensed clinician. This podcast might be triggering to some listeners as we have honest discussions about trauma, but we have lighter conversations about mental health and identity as well. And if you need help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources. And remember, you are not alone.
Hi.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
This is awesome.
I'm very excited to get to know you better and learn more about the gaming community as well.
Sure, of course.
So how would you describe yourself in your own words?
So I kind of have like a big brother energy, but definitely dad joke, big brother energy. So I just like to make people happy and help people where I can, and just want everyone to just have a good day.
How long have you been in the gaming community?
I want to say the beginning of my kind of gaming experience was probably like 94. So there used to be a used video game store in Dover, New Hampshire called the Game Exchange. It was on 2nd Street, I want to say. A guy named Mike Dickinson owned it. Really nice. And basically you'd go in and he had game consoles and TVs set up where you could, play like Dreamcast games, Mario 64 on Nintendo 64, stuff like that. And you'd like pay by the hour, but he also sold and bought used video games, which is cool. It ended up becoming a very similar dynamic to what I do now. And then he closed, but a friend in middle school had shown me his Magic cards and a few other games that were out at the time, and Magic kind of just like really stuck with me. So my brother and I asked for Magic cards for Christmas, and my dad and my aunt got us some Magic cards, 4th edition starter set for Christmas in 1995.
Cool.
We started playing in events at Dover Cards and Comics, which has since burned down. But it was a really great experience. And, from there, found the Game Zone in Dover, which had already moved from over where Five Guys is now, but it used to be in that plaza.
Cool.
And we started playing when it was in the next to Wendy's in the Green Plaza. And we went from there, and then they moved to downtown. We were playing there. Eventually to Paperback Bazaar in Somersworth, which later became Jetpack in Rochester. And then, just always kind of like found and like, dug myself into the local game scene, very largely around Magic, more recently around Warhammer and Magic, but had started with video games and just, it's been an awesome ride, like really central to my life and kind of like my sense of self.
Did you ever play Magic or Warhammer competitively, like in competitions?
Yes.
I guess that's what competitively means.
Yeah. So, at a much smaller scale, played Magic at, weekly tournaments, at the various game stores across the years. But I did get a chance to be an alternate, which I ended up getting called up for at a really incredible tournament back in Theros. I want to say it was Born of the Gods, like the second Theros set, and the 3 players that were on the team were all extremely good, and I was proficient. Someone couldn't make it, so I got to go play with them, and they carried me for the entire tournament, which was so cool. So it was in Worcester, Massachusetts, and so with a teams Magic event, we did Team Sealed. Literally, I think the most fun you could possibly ever have playing Magic. So there's a team leader, which was obviously not me in this case. But I think I could do it now. And then you have a player on either side of you, and each of you are playing a game of Sealed. So for the uninitiated, you're building a deck out of cards that you bought like for the event, and so you're limited to just those cards.
Like a draft?
Yeah, similar to a draft, but you get to keep all your own cards.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and so you're like, okay, so I've got these cards, what can I do with it? So with Team Sealed, instead, all three of you have what would normally just be 2 people sealed pools. So you've got to kind of divvy up those to make 3 decks, and sometimes you're making a sacrifice like, okay, well, these 2 decks are going to be really strong, and this person's isn't, or we're going to make everyone's kind of medium, which is a really cool dynamic. But the team leader is playing against the opposing team leader in each round, and then it's 3 separate games. But since it's best of 2, the first 2 people to win their match ends the round. So my teammates were constantly winning, and even though I was losing almost all my games, like we ended up advancing like almost to the very end of the event and playing against some like big name Magic players from like the Star City community, which was really cool. And like they were super friendly. Like it was just a really awesome experience. And even though I just felt like I was kind of there for the ride, it was still crazy fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Didn't you teach us how to play, was it the star method a few weeks ago?
Yeah. So basically for a multiplayer Magic, you have a star where everyone is kind of assigned like a color, and you can only attack basically. You can attack anyone you want, but you're trying to eliminate the 2 enemy colors to the color you are. So it's fun because the person next to you on either side is an ally, but your enemies are not the same as their enemies. There's only one overlapping, so there's kind of a political aspect to it where you're trying to say like, oh, help me take out this person. But when you're going against another person, it could be their ally, so they may try to protect them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It was cool being able to say I won by proxy just because I was on Colby's team.
Yeah, yes. Yep, that was really cool.
What do you love most about the friendships and relationships you've made in the gaming community?
I mean, everything. It's again, like I've made most of my lifelong friends and like closest friends and relationships have been through the gaming community, through in some aspect. As a side note, it's been really wonderful to see the gaming community evolve to be so inclusive. My friends have always been, and like you mentioned at the beginning, I absolutely consider myself an ally. But going back to the earliest days of my gaming, my friends have always been from all walks of life, and it's really cool to see all of the walks of life so much better represented in the game store as time goes on.
Yeah, that's been really cool because I met you at the game store because Mike and I go and play Magic every Tuesday, and like it was really cool because I didn't realize you were an employee, but because you were just playing games with everyone out in the store, and I was like, that's really cool that as an employee you can kind of get to know the community and introduce them to new games and different formats and stuff while you're working. Yeah, that's a pretty cool job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the owners has always been like, hey, a store with people playing is a store where, people that come in to shop feel like, oh, hey, I can just come in and game here. And, every few days I've got people that are like, you guys play games here in the store? Mm-hmm. And it's like, a lot of times I'll mention, and we've got like 2 basements with more tables, and their mind's just blown. You just see them like, what? Yeah. People come in and they end up becoming friends with one another just because they're coming to hang out, and I really enjoy kind of being, like a magnet for those people. Saying, hey, come hang out with me, play a game with me, and this day and this day, there's some groups that come in at this time, and then people kind of like glomming on to those groups. Like I don't know if you've ever played Katamari Damacy for PlayStation, but you're like a ball, and you collect like household items off the floor as you roll around, and eventually you just become this larger and larger and larger ball. So there's cool. Like certain like things that aren't quite heavy or too heavy for you to pick up, and so you've got to go pick up a bunch of stuff beforehand and gain mass before you can pick that up, and so you're basically just trying to pick up everything in the entire room. It's really neat.
That's fun.
Yeah, it kind of it's like, okay, let's like, join us,
Get
us,
all
join
the people,
us.
all the players.
Yeah, exactly.
All the games.
Yeah, so.
That's really cool. So what is your favorite game that you play at the store? Is it Magic? Is it Warhammer? That takes a little bit more setup.
Yeah, it definitely is Magic. Warhammer is an incredibly close second, though.
Yeah.
I'm on I'd say a few month hiatus from Warhammer, but they both have these wonderful like multi-layered aspects. Like, so obviously Magic, you've got the collecting. You've got the deck building, which I find just incredibly like cathartic and like a great creative outlet. And then you've got the social aspect, of course, and then the game itself. But Warhammer, it's obviously very similar, but you've got you get to build, you get to paint, and that's your creative outlet can be in the building as well. Like, you're free to kind of use parts in like kind of non-typical like or atypical ways, and kind of create your own things. And in the Warhammer space, it's called kit bashing or converting, and that's a ton of fun. But the painting's wildly relaxing. Wildly, it is very relaxing. And then the game's incredibly strategic. It's sort of like chess, but instead of black and white, you've got 26 different colors, and they all play a little differently with a lot of overlap.
Oh.
So it's it's really fun. So it's like a 2.5-3 hour game of chess where you get to paint your own little chess pieces, and you get to, it's like, okay, I'm gonna clip the head off this queen and put it onto a pawn, and then like make it 3 feet tall, and just do anything you want with it. It's really awesome.
Yeah. Producer Mike loves Warhammer, so
yeah.
I've gotten a little bit of exposure through him.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Trigger warning. The following section contains discussions about struggles with sobriety and alcohol. Listener discretion is advised. So you've kind of mentioned to me a little bit about navigating sobriety for the past 15 plus years.
Yep.
How has that been in the gaming community, and have people been like supportive and respectful of that journey?
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. It's actually been surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a few examples. Over the years, the kind of rise of barcades has really happened, and so like I've been comfortable going into spaces like like a Dave & Buster's kind of, where it's the bar is very separate from the arcade, and they just happen to be in the same building.
Yeah.
And there's a place that I haven't been into yet that I'd really like to try, locally owned business, actually, somebody that owned by somebody that graduated with me in high school, Tokens Tap Room in Dover.
Cool.
And I was always kind of afraid or like hesitant to go in because I didn't know how I'd be able to handle, going into a gaming space that was intentionally a shared space with the bar aspect. Early on in my sobriety, I tried continuing to go into bars a little bit, because it was originally most of my time in bars was for karaoke, and like I really still wanted to sing, so like I tried, and I couldn't keep doing it. There's been, even so long later, 15 plus years, like there's been times when I have been tempted, and only for a moment, but something as simple as like a customer coming in with a beer or something, and like me just getting like a little whiff of it, and then like feeling really ashamed that it's not something that I've conquered, and it's just realistically nothing that you ever conquer. It's something that's just going to be a struggle for the rest of your life, but how much so I think can scale really well with the kind of support you have in your life, and I feel like my support structures are really, really good right now. So we've had, customers, like maybe bring a beverage in for themselves while they game or what have you, and there's been some times when I'm like, hey man, if you don't mind, next time could you like bring a koozie or maybe like play downstairs? Like, I really struggle with this, and seeing this is a problem for me. I don't want to stop you from doing your thing, but just, can you try and do it in a way that, other people can't see, just in case, because I'm able to say something, but maybe not anyone else might not be comfortable, like another customer, like excuse me, random other customer, can you not do that? And yeah, they like literally ever since they've, you know, always just, you know, had a koozie or like played in a different room, and I really appreciate that. And actually, my friendship with that particular customer has grown quite a bit since that conversation. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Another huge thing that's helped has been finally getting onto some medications. So if the audience can't tell, I'm neurospicy, and
this is a neurospicy safe space.
Yeah. But having gone unmedicated since the 3rd grade, and not necessarily having been encouraged to seek out medication really kind of at all, just decided to finally take that step for myself earlier this year, and it's been just a huge change, which has been really nice.
Yeah.
Still kind of figuring out the dosage, so still having some, you know, panic attacks here and there, but the next few weeks going to be looking at getting into some ADD meds, which is going to be really cool.
Nice.
But currently on meds for anxiety and depression and sleep, and they've just made a world of difference. So having the confidence socially, I've noticed since I've been on the meds, it's actually been a lot easier to like expose myself to spaces like bars. I began with some really close friends, like letting them know ahead of time, like, hey, like I'd love to join you guys for karaoke. Like they'd been asking me for years, and I've just been like, no, like I don't think I'm comfortable in that space. And then just with the meds, I was just like, I'm feeling pretty confident, like I'm not getting too overwhelmed socially, and I feel like that combination of things could have been dangerous before, but you know, if you guys want to like basically be my buddy and, you know, keep an eye on me, like leave somebody with me at all times just in case, I'd love to join you guys. And you know, I had a wonderful experience with them, you know, and it was, you know, friends that I made through the gaming community that also happened to enjoy karaoke. So so I've been 3 times now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was really awesome, like really fantastic experience. And you know, had plenty of non-alcoholic beverages, even while they enjoyed, and they'd check in on me like, hey, like, you know, how you feeling? And it's just been really awesome. So they've been super supportive, and I'm just really happy to be able to kind of get back into those spaces. Same group of friends did the same thing for me at Czar's Brewery in Dover. So they do like magic on Wednesday nights. And so I've been going there once or twice a month to join them. And again, like everyone's got a beer, but like no one's getting drunk. And then, you know, like I'm able to enjoy time with them and not focus on the fact that it happens to be a bar. You know, they've got great food too, so like, you know, it's a restaurant and it happens to have a bar, but the gaming there and being able to be with a bunch of people that I know and that are my friends and just have a good time with them and be able to kind of say, all right, I know that I may not always be okay with this, but I can be right now, has been huge.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you've been able to get back into those spaces, especially like karaoke, something that you love, but it's kind of in an environment that's been a little tricky. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's very few, like, sober karaoke spots, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even think of one, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact that I've been able to kind of start dipping my toes in the water with it again has been really cathartic.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you've also found medication that helps.
Yeah.
Helps you kind of overall with your well-being and mental health. So.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I felt like there's always been like a public stigma to being on meds or to even having sort of any sort of mental health issues.
Yeah.
And started to become comfortable talking about it through a peer counseling group that I was in a few years ago, and just being able to talk with people and like openly about what's going on in my head was really nice. And I found that I actually really enjoyed being like open and authentic with people, and sometimes even strangers, just like hey, I've got these issues, and that's okay because I'm still me, this is me. And it's been actually really surprising how many people have kind of like responded to that and been like, oh yeah, like I'm struggling with this. And have had people just like trauma dump, but I love it. Just like, oh, like I do the same thing.
We love info dumping.
Yeah, exactly. So I've forgotten the original question now, but I'm happy I get to share that.
Of course. Would you be willing to hand in emotional support, Charmander, please?
Nice.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
I think it's really cool that you have had a lot of people kind of give you that support and encourage you, because I feel like there's a strong stigma associated with like alcohol and having fun, and that you can't have fun without some kind of substance. But and you don't want to be like the buzzkill or like
exactly.
But
stick in the mud, and all of a sudden you're not getting invited out anymore. Because they're all this sober guy.
Yeah, but I'm really glad that you've had people kind of be supportive of you and also kind of check in on you. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of sobriety that I haven't asked that you think might be important to share?
Sure. When I first decided to quit, I just kind of had an epiphany, like, I don't need this to have fun. I was drinking something that I didn't even like. I was like, why am I doing this? And I don't think that I reached out for help, like, even with issues that were occurring related to drinking. Before that, I kind of laughed them all off, even though, like, telling stories to friends afterwards, just like, and I wish I had sought out help before getting to a point where I like had to quit. I consider myself lucky and grateful that I came to that conclusion without a catastrophe. I had an uncle who was hit by a car on his motorcycle by a drunk driver when I was in my teens, and it was enough to swear off motorcycles for life, but I wish it had been enough to swear off alcohol for life too. And it took me a little extra time, but I'm glad I got there. I would say if there's anyone that's struggling, if they are familiar with any of the spaces that I am in, if they wanted to talk, I would be really happy to talk. And if not, or if they don't want to talk to someone they know, just reach out to someone.
Absolutely. What did your early recovery look like, and did you use the AA program, or what worked best for you?
I didn't use the AA program. I wasn't opposed to it, but I just tried seeing if I could continue to be in those spaces and couldn't. And the big motivating factor in stopping was I didn't want my oldest daughter to grow up with a parent that didn't have a handle on alcohol, and for me, having a handle on it was just to not at all.
Yeah.
So
kind of like removing yourself from those environments where it was happening around you, or tempting, or people were pressuring you to, and also kind of just doing what you can to manage it and kind of stay away from it on your own.
Yeah, and obviously familiar with, with AA through, conversations with other people, And that was something that, I did feel pretty open about talking about with others that I knew were struggling, or, sometimes I'd recognize the tattoo and just like have a conversation with them. And that was incredibly helpful. I had some support at the time, which was helpful. It was just kind of something I knew needed to end.
Yeah. Did you say you used peer support counseling as well, or like support groups?
So I used the peer support counseling, but that wasn't, at the time, it wasn't for alcohol. I did talk to them about my problems with alcohol, and that was great. At that point, it was maybe 10 years in, 10 or 12 years in. Oh wow, no, it was 10 years in. Sorry. That was it was really great. And if you have access to a peer counseling group, like, definitely give it a shot, because it was wonderful. Again, just hearing that you're not the only one going through these problems makes you feel less damaged, less than, knowing that there's just a whole bunch of people that just hadn't talked about this before, and we're all just kind of like, everything's fine, doing great, thanks, and inside it's like, not so much. I think on some sort of piece of media, I don't remember if it was a television show or something along those lines, or like a self-help public speaker, but at some point you're going to encounter someone who's having the worst day of their entire life, and they're not going to tell you. So trying to keep that in mind, I feel like, has made me a little more empathetic.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, looking forward, what are you excited about in the new year in terms of like games or any events that are coming up in the area?
Sure. So first off, I'm really, really excited for the Ninja Turtles Magic set. I love Ninja Turtles, and it's super cool that the creators are from Dover, New Hampshire. But
really,
yeah, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, I want to say, and I just grew up loving Ninja Turtles, and still love Ninja Turtles, and I think it's just so awesome that they're going to have cards. Beyond that, hoping to get to some Renaissance fairs and some game conventions this year. I went to my first ever game convention this year with some customers from the shop, and some close friends, and that was a direct result of being medicated and feeling like I wouldn't be overwhelmed again. And I say again as in like, I'm just repeating that I think, anyway.
You're good.
Yeah. So, but I had an incredible time. I cosplayed, not as a character or anything, but just like my own creation, and
cool.
It was really fun. Someone, came up to me and like, "You look awesome," and it was just like so wholesome and warming. I really liked it, and like a few people took pictures of me, so that was awesome. The Ren Fair, I haven't dressed up for a Ren Fair before, but I've only been to 2 Ren Fairs ever, and really, really enjoy it, and want to continue to get into that space, because it's like super, super duper like neurospicy and like geeky, and it's just like exactly my people, our people.
Yes,
yeah.
Our people.
Yeah.
One of us.
One of us.
And I'm so excited to keep participating in everything at the store. And I'm excited for Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And everything.
Yeah.
Is there another Strixhaven? What's the one that's coming out?
Yes, there is. Yeah, Secrets of Strixhaven.
Mike, sorry, you're excited about that, right?
Yeah, that'll be cool. Lorwyn's going to be fun.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that more.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's the one I was trying to remember, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first one next year. And It looks amazing.
And, thank you so much. And you always like slide me little goodies that you can't sell. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And it means a lot that you came on today and opened up and shared your story. And I know that people will hopefully be able to relate and be able to take something from your story and help them kind of find their own path to sobriety and healing, and
I hope so too.
Finding a community. And so I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Let's throw it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you again to Terry for coming on. If you need any help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources. Make sure to tune in every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And just remember that you are not alone. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
And cut.
Awesome.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You are not alone. And if you need help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources.